Ladies, hiya. Man, are you? That's our organization, iVoting, represent the private sector. We've been discussing a lot, and our discussions, of course, my questions were directly facing towards election, using your phones, using online. So when Professor was talking about his research, he talked about the percentage of Africans and how much they use the phone and how the internet has grown from 2019 to 2023. It was a 10% increase, of which there is some more increase as we go further. So at the same time, there was Mr. Mwangi from the second panel. He talked about digitization, voting everywhere you are. And of course, everyone was like, I'm in my office and I want to vote wherever I am, right? And everyone is like, we need a system that can be very flexible for the youth. Right now, the youth is everywhere to technology. Everything with technology. In your offices, you are always there, TikTok, YouTube, Nini, everything, right? So even when I was having a lunch break, I didn't want to disclose what I was doing specifically, but I was just like, I'm from iVoting. Yeah? You can tell what iVoting is, right? So 2022 election, the executive director, Youth Cafe, there was a lower turnout of youth because of many reasons. One of them being economic factors, the social norms and everything. So today, I'm going to present to you iVoting. iVoting in the name itself says means intelligent voting. So my case study revolves around university election, because if we say right now we want to use the iVoting system for the Kenyan election, that's going to be chaos, right? We can't just say like tomorrow or the next election, we are going to use your phone. Everyone will have many questions, right? So starting over and continuously adapting to the voting and online system of elections needs a step by step. And as a private sector, of course, when you're starting a business, you need vocal points where you will start and build whatever you're doing. So my case study revolves around Machakos University. Right there is my team from our CEO, Kelvin Joroge. Myself right there down, and Faria Jama, who is a business development. So to introduce iVoting, iVoting is a secure online voting platform accessible via web and USSD. M-Pesa started when there was very low adoption of technology, right? Everyone, you know that. So, and right now, where is M-Pesa? M-Pesa is everywhere. To the person in the local area, to the shosho, in our villages, right? So, in that sense, promoting inclusive participation for youth, women, people with disabilities, while encouraging civic engagement and electoral reforms. Why we say electoral reforms is because introducing a new technology for elections, that's a big challenge for many people. We can go to a university right now and tell them, we have a system and we want to use it in your university students election. But then the students will be, how is that even possible? Our laws says we are going to use traditional elections. So electoral reforms plays a key role when bringing in a new system. So we changed the law, and we discussed with maybe the leaders. They change the law and adapt to the new technology. So the case study is very, very unique because we only deal with Machakos University. We've partnered with Machakos University for the last 7 years right now. So the background information, the problem revolves around low voter turnout. There is a lot of fraud and corruption because preparation of the electoral process involves every person around the university. There is ballots, there is ballot papers, there is all those people who are involved in the electoral process. So there will be any form of fraud. You cannot miss one or two, right? So, and again, post-election violence. It's highly exacerbated by the human involvement while counting the vote. You don't trust who is holding that ballot paper of yours, right? Then you'll be, these people are rigging, they are doing this. So the only solution we have right now is I-voting. I-voting system implementation for student election. So why am I revolving around the university is because that is our main area of focus as we grow step by step. So the outcome of our solution, there was increased voter participation. I will show you the graph as we continue, how the voter participation increased over time. Because the first year, there is a low trust in the use of technology. But as we continue, each and every year, there is more trust coming in as they use the system. Appreciation of democracy, practice, and inclusive participation with the use of technology. No registered cases of fraud and or corruption within the electoral process. You'll ask me why and how. Yeah, so the I-voting system, let's say the developers. For example, me. I should not be, or there is no need for me being in the university to tell the university to do this and that. I've already done demos. I've already trained the university leadership, the electoral commission, and all that. So their own thing is to do is just open up the system and continue registering voters to the process of election day. So our solution successfully, and there was a successful and peaceful transition of leaders, of student leadership for 7 years and counting, because we are going to continue with that. So the objective of our system is transformative democracy. Of course, election, we need to see everyone getting involved, right? And that's how we promote democracy and everyone's involvement. So there's inclusive electoral practices because many people right now, a lot of people own a gadget and use the internet to do anything they're doing. The electoral reforms, of course, guided a successful implementation and use of civic technology. Without laws, when adapting to the new system, there's nothing that can happen because something can happen right there during the election day, but you don't have the law governing any form of anything that comes up. Because anything that comes up, there's a law stating that you should not bypass this or you should come down from that. Yeah, so zero fraud and corruptions, peaceful leadership transition, positive approach towards civic technology, and of course promote free, fair election through a secured, accessible, easy to use online voting system. So the method in which the advocacy we are up for is, of course, using the system during the electoral process, engaging the students on possible areas of approach to meet their needs during election process, review and training, that is the electoral reforms, demos, and voter education, and data collection. Of course, once the system has come into place, you need to collect data and make sure that there is satisfaction when the system is being used. However, when the system is being used, there's some challenges that come in. Some will try and sabotage the system, hacking and all that. But after the election, you take into account what really happened. So our findings and analysis. Over the 7 years, as you can see from the first graph, the voter turnout 2018, the year 2018 was very minimal from what we have today, because the first time people will say, not necessarily they would use their phones where they were. They could just go to school and vote directly using the school computers. But as we evolve and continue with improving the system, we continue to have an increased participation. So until 2024, that was March, a few months ago, we had a very high participation, because everyone could use their phone wherever they are through the system of USSD. You'll just dial a star number hash and you could vote directly. So viewing the voter satisfaction over the 7 years, there is a margin, a huge margin of very satisfied persons after the elections, and a very, very small percentage of voters are very dissatisfied, because some will just say there was some rigging. The very dissatisfied, you will find them on the opposition if they lost the election. So our analysis, of course, there was a significant number of students who embraced the voting at 93% turnout. There's a convenience and accessibility. Some were voting away when they were on attachment. Enhance efficiency. The voting efficiency streamlined the election process, reducing the time and resources required. Significant reduction of fraud and instances of corruption, because there is no human interaction while using the system. Results are efficiently released without any human interaction. So during the final stages of election, of course, results are to be released. So once everyone is done with their voting and everything, the system is closed and time for releasing the results are just directly, you click a button and there you go. Because we don't need that you have some other steps or following. There is a button you just click and the results open up in every, maybe school, yeah. So the successes and challenges, of course, are there. At the success, number one, successful implementation. Since the implementation, we've never had any trouble or situation or any form of chaos against the use of the system. Inclusive participation from our own advocacy, democracy for advocacy, we see that there is an inclusive participation of up to 90% engagement. Empowerment, education on democratic participation. We don't just do education because we don't just do voting because we want to do voting. No, we do also educate on democracy and why we need people to participate in election, why we need leadership, why we need civic technology at the same time. So improve security and accessibility. Challenges came in handy. That is trust issues. During the 2018 election, to use the system, we had to go through a lot of challenges, because people will say we don't want that, we don't want it, we want to use what we've been using. So in the process, we got a lot of resistance to the technology. So preference for traditional methods, of course, when traditional methods are rooted to the core, it's very hard to change a person who is into the traditional ways of or methods. So outreach difficulties, challenges in reaching potential partners. For example, you will ask yourself why we still are with the Machakos University, who are our permanent, I can say that, partners. It's very hard to conquer other institutions who are enrooted to using the traditional methods, or they will just say like, we have our own solution. Why do we need yours? But our own solution doesn't mean we are enclosed to your institution. We are bringing other form of advocacy, and we want to train people on democracy. We want to educate people on civic engagement, public participation, why they need to vote, and the goodness of having civic technology in their environment, electoral environment. So initial technical hurdles, of course, that came in handy with the system going down, and then later it's revived. Those are the challenges, but we overcame. Right now, the 2024 election, we didn't see any situation that we can say came with a technical hitch. So the key outcomes, of course, the adoption of civic technology, transition to online voting, enhance student representation, improved election security, reduced increased voter engagement and cost and time efficiency. The cost and time efficiency, of course, we didn't have to use a lot of say the ballot boxes, they didn't have to come all the way. If they were to come, they have to stay where they are to vote. So the picture you see right there is after the 2024 election. The CEO taking the handshake with the secretary to the dean of students. The happy moments of a successful election in a university, of course, will be seen from brighter faces, right? So some recommendation, of course, will be to pilot the program, implement advocacy programs to promote the use of voting, expansion, roll out to political parties. Getting to political parties, these need a lot of collaboration from the organization in this room and outside. So if one of the organization who have partnered with maybe a political party and they need our services, they come and we do what the political party requires. Part of that is changing their policies towards the civic technology. That's number 3, collaborative efforts and engage stakeholders. Whole session with student leaders and election officials to discuss implement necessary electoral reforms. Training and education is a must because when a new civic technology program comes in, there must be training and education. And of course, continuous improvements following new advancements in technology. The implementation plan of the system engage stakeholders through continuous dialogue and collaboration. On a personal level, there is more resistance than when we are on a collaborative programs. For example, when we've collaborated with Youth Cafe, there is more expansion to adoption of the system because people will understand. Youth Cafe brought in this technology, and we know it's going to work. So the launch pilot programs provide comprehensive training to all users, run marketing campaigns, enhance the technology if there are new and improved technology that needs to be input, and funding and resources allocation. Of course, we cannot do without resources. There must be a source of funding to engage stakeholders, to do demos, to have electoral reforms, meetings, and all that. Develop partnership, a very good position to expand, monitor and evaluate performance. That's the end of my presentation. And in that case, we are going to have a demo on the same. Once the system is ready, I will inform the organizers so that we can have a demo. And of course, maybe what do we vote for? Finance bill? What do we vote for? Finance bill? Democracy and climate? That is, I will wish to have maybe an idea on that, so that once the system is up and running, the coordination will let you know. So any questions?
Okay, put your hands up, please, those with questions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We are running short of time, so that's why I wanted us to really hurry up on this.
Thanks so much for the wonderful presentation. I want to believe that this is a work in progress paper that requires improvements from time to time. Now, the I-voting actually delves majorly on election, and I want to believe that it also includes the electoral processes when it comes to voting. I have two questions. One, does it include the transparency part of election, and how does it curb that? And secondly, how does it monitor or manages the voter apathy? Thank you so much. Voter apathy.
Thank you so much. Yeah. My question to our presenter for a good presentation first. Thank you. I have a question now regarding I-voting. In this case, we've been having a very big problem as people with visual impairment, bearing the fact that the electoral system has been manual, and most of the times they've been bringing these sheets that contain printed information on voting. So when you go for voting, they take us through the voting with a personal assistant. Yet, I am in a position to choose and decide whom I want to vote for independently. And this one could be very well done through I-voting, through technology, because technology makes it inclusive. Now the question comes in this way: how am I going to be guaranteed that the vote that I'm going to cast in the ballot or through the I-voting is going to count? I mean, it cannot be manipulated in any way, because you as the developer of the system, you are in a position to do anything in order to manipulate the vote and maybe turn my one vote into two. Yeah, so what measures or what are you going to do in order for me to be satisfied? Number two, for how long have you been doing the I-voting at the Machakos University? Maybe once, twice, thrice, and you've grown an experience. We've been having a conversation at Kenya Society for the Blind with the IEBC in the previous elections, and we've been having a very big problem because we actually need a system that is inclusive. where independence is highly considered. Thank you.
Thank you. One question each. One question per person, please.
All right, so my question is, and very straightforwardly, I just wanted to find out what are some of the best practices that you're putting in place or that you've put in place to ensure that there's data protection?
Thank you. Strictly 30 seconds. Strictly.
Okay, thank you. The initiative is a good one and it's a good pilot project. So mine, there's just a gap that I haven't heard you maybe addressing. For example, IEBC, with this, there was BVR and there is manual. So you haven't addressed a situation where voting is happening, for example, Machakos County, and there is a system failure. When now someone has their gadget, ako kwake nyumbani na anafanya voting. What about if now there is an unauthorized or attack onto your system and it has failed? What, or now does the voting ends? Does it stop, or now what is the backup structure for your voting system? Because now if people doesn't come to an institution to vote, and now there cannot be a manual voting system. So how will you address that, or does the voting stop? Then the last question. Yes, what are maybe just maybe your resolutions maybe to remain relevancy into the global market, because also there are also platforms where voting is done, maybe that online. So what are your structure to remain relevant in the system? Yeah.
Strictly 30 seconds.
My question is simple. You've talked about electronic voting, so I would really like to know what part is electronic. Is it the voter registration using biometric? Is it the voter verification? Is it the voting itself, or is it the vote counting? And how then do you say whatever process is electronic in that stage of voting, how do you say that a system that has worked with around 200 students, because now we know that there's a university amendment bill, so delegate voting is actually in campus. It's not like the 20,000 students in Machakos University vote. So how can a system that works with around 200 people, whom they can also vote with Google Forms, how can it work now in a country of around 55 million people? Thanks.
Thank you. It is a good one. I would like to know how thorough was the penetration testing on this platform, or rather the electronic voting, and in case of attack, how are you going to handle the data cleaning process?
Thank you for the matter on iVoting. I have a question. Can you provide a clear process for resolving disputes or allegation of fraud or irregularities during the elections?
Any other question? I'm locking down the question session. Okay, back to you, Titus.
Thank you for the question. I know it would be more than this if we were to sit and have more time for that. So I will start with the first question, the electoral process from my friend. The transparency part of election and monitoring, or how the system manages voter apathy. So on technical terms, maybe some of the questions needs the technical bit of it. So I will try and answer the parts and the technical parts that I will have a good idea about. Yeah. So the electoral transparency. First, iVoting over the 7 years. Of course, in university, you can't miss one technical guy who will be like, why do they think that iVoting is very secure? So they will try and come up and attack the system. So 2024, we experienced over 1.4 million trials of people trying to get into the system, because the leaders would be very, very, very into one. They want to try and rig the election. So for the transparency part, I would say it's for the moment, since it's still on the pilot, or I would say it's highly secured, and we've not had any cases of infiltration. So for people with disabilities, we have what do you call this? A part or a feature that gathers for the people with disability. If you can see, of course, while you have a phone, right? Yeah, if you have a phone, there's a feature accessibility feature that helps you talk to you, right? So we have that feature in the system so that people who cannot see will have direct communication with the system, and those other people with disabilities have access to the system. And other features are slowly being included. So we've been doing elections in Machakos for 7 years, continuously. So from 2018 over to this year's elections. Data protection, now that is very, I would say, through the Data Protection Authority. Of course, we will have other measures taken in when doing an election outside for the citizen, for the general citizen. But for now, for the university, there is a policy for data protection. And of course, our own data protection policy that says, for example, we have, once the election is done, we have to disperse all the data we have from the university. If it was the record, all the results, everything, we give to the Electoral Commission. And then all that is closed, and we delete all the data from our own site, okay? So in the cases of the system being attacked, that is a technical part, because my engineer would tell me the technicals of being attacked. I don't want to go into that, but once we get attacked, we can't stop. We can't stop the election. The election goes on, because the way I understood, once this part is attacked, there's another part that picks up, because we cannot stop an election because there is this part that is attacked. Another picks, right, like that. It's never ending. It's a process that never ends, because once the system is opened, the part where there is some form of calculation, there is everything, is where it's enclosed. No one can access that. So that's why if it's attacked by someone else, it closes that and opens another one, but the election goes on non-stop. I wouldn't say electronic voting, because I want it to be intelligent. So intelligent in the sense that you can use your phone, and you can register all the processes of election from day one of registration. You can just dial *144, register your ID and everything. That process, the whole process, happens through the system to the day of election, just on your phone, wherever you are. It doesn't mean you have to go. Only if you had a case of customer care reasons and you wanted to inquire, of course, we'll have a customer care desk, and you will be assisted. There's another one I didn't get well. How can it work in... I missed that one. I'm sorry for that. I think I've answered the rest in case of attack and penetration. So irregularities, there's a part of irregularities. If we have any irregularities, of course, using the policies we have at hand, we will have to use that, and we'll follow that to not deviate from the electoral process. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. So, if I can have a minute of your time and you have a look at the screen, we have an online national tallying center and it's virtual. Just let me. So, could I have Oliver Mshila to kindly, who, Titus? Or Titus, could you kindly come to the podium and just take us through for like a minute or so, because I understand it's coming to a close at 4 p.m.
Yeah. So what you're looking there is a national tally. We have 20 registered voters. The other part, the 0 to 20 means 0 have already voted, and the /20 means if 20 out of 20 is in there, all the voters are voted. But if 19 is in there, that means 19 voters have voted. I hope you've received a message that says do not open, right? Yeah? Yes, so at this juncture, the polling stations are open, and kindly dial star 483, star 68 hash, vote, and it will close. If you try again to vote, it will kick you out. Okay? What I've sent you, star 483, star 483, star 68 hash. We have 0 voters. No one has voted yet. Star 483, star 68 hash. Star 483, star 68 hash.
And we have someone from the region who does not understand. It's an in-house joke when we talk about the server. So Titus, tell us, what do you...
It looks as it is a technology, but of course the human plays a crucial role. And in Kenya we had an experience with a gentleman called Jose Camargo, who is famous for having his footprints all over the election and server process. So if you are the owner of the server, it means you can control the winner and maybe manipulate the systems. So how tamper-proof? And it also it boils down to ethics, because I think the owner of the server can make the final determination of the winner.
Why are the elections, the results, not live? Like, so that when I vote, say Trump, I can see that there's one extra vote for Trump. It's just showing 10 people voted, but it's not showing me, so that, yes, where my vote has strictly gone, so that I can realize that I have voted, I have seen my candidate has been increased with 1 vote. The other one is a joke, of course. The person opening the server can help Baba to open the servers.
So as he's telling us, he wants to see his candidate's vote going up, but you can't really see it right now because 20 people have voted, yes? Then we will open the tally and know the number of people that came in.
Now I have that's number 1. Number 2, my phone goes off. There's no physical polling station. This is the only system. What happens? And I have to vote. I'm saying there are two problems here. I'm about to vote, then someone snatches my phone. I don't have a laptop. There's no physical polling station, and I have to vote. Number two, my phone goes off. I have nowhere to charge. How can I vote?
He's saying, of course, when you go, I think, Roman, can you hear us? Okay, let me try and answer that. When you have a ballot paper right now, you are given a ballot paper, right? Your phone is now the ballot paper, right? You've been stolen, that the phone has been stolen. It's gone. You have the ballot paper, the traditional way, right? And then you are given one ballot paper. Yes, that is the only way to vote. So your ballot paper right now, using the traditional one, you just spilled something on top of it and it tears.
I'm saying the policy changes in the sense that this is the only way to vote. There's no traditional way of voting like ballot papers. Someone has snatched my phone. Secondly, my phone has gone off. Hakuna mambo ya polling station, the physical ones and all that. What happens?
Simply, let me use this simple term. Simu yako, your phone has just gone off because you don't have, you needed to withdraw money. What do you do? Yeah, you need to vote.
Recording
but of course,
in progress.
you need to have your phone all the time to vote. You don't need to switch off your phone. If it's gone, it's gone. Yeah, you can't go against that. If it's gone, it's gone. Yes.
Snatched when I'm about to vote. Yes. And then secondly, my phone goes off. Okay. What happens? Does my vote gets lost like that, or what happened? What is the alternative? When there is no other traditional way to vote, there's no polling station. This is the only way to vote.
Number one, I shall answer the first part of your question. I shall answer it this way. When you lose your phone, you don't lose your Facebook account, you don't lose your Twitter account, you don't lose your WhatsApp account. What you have done is lost the phone only. So by using that logic, the same thing applies to iVoting here. Your vote is only valid during the period of voting only, and it cannot be another person cannot vote for you. Case in point, in today's case, you only need your phone number. So if today you happen to lose your phone number and you can't access and you can't restore that phone number, you can't get that SIM card and restore it to your phone, what happens is you won't vote. That will be a no vote. We don't have spoiled votes on iVoting. That will be a no vote. The statistics will be that you did not vote. So you cannot. The only way you can vote is using the phone that you used to verify on.
So in that case, I lose my vote.
You don't lose your vote. You don't vote. The vote is never lost. The vote is never used. It is in a state of. It is in a Schrodinger's cat state. Your vote is there, but you haven't voted.
So my other question is, do you have
Yes.
another plan B for that? In case somebody loses a phone, is there other way out using iVote?
In the event that you lose your phone and you come with your identification, we have modalities in place whereby we verify your identity. So if you can speak to us, yes, we can allow you to vote. We have contingency plans on this because we've been studying Kenya's elections since 2002. So we have contingency plans for this. Yes, we do.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, so Roman, we need to open the polls so that everyone can know. Yeah, 10 voters only. Yes, yes. So.
Okay, Roman, this is my question. While registering on this platform, as a voter, there wasn't anywhere I was asked anything to do with my personal identification or anything as an identifier. And so, I am a Kenyan who has like 3 Safaricom lines, of which I can register using different lines because there is no specific identity. Then, and I will register with different usernames. So how are you going to prevent me to vote like 3 times or 4 times?
Number one is you gave your phone number to Titus to send to me, right?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes.
Yes, so when you did that, automatically that phone number became your personal identification number. When you do that. So it does not matter if you have 3 lines. The phone number that you used to register with, that is the phone number that you're going to vote. Even if you have 20 lines with the same ID number, but the 19 have not yet been registered, they won't be allowed to vote. And also on that note, you cannot vote again. Even if you use the USSD code again, it will tell you that the voting session has ended. So you cannot vote again, even if I left the system on.
Okay,
and also, more to that is, whatever it is you're using the demo version of iVoting. You're not using the real world version of iVoting. The real world version of iVoting has the ID numbers, and also, I don't know if Tito mentioned it, but in 2022 during the elections, we were at Bomas with the IEBC team, especially with Martin Nyaga, the database administrator of IEBC. So we have in place. We can get the data and we can use the data to lock you to your ID. But for now,
So we'll have the next presentation from Brian Muchema. Please come forward.